Showdown in the SEC with playoff implications. Who are we going with? How are the MLB playoffs shaping up? And should Tony Romo start when healthy? Find out next. MCTV Sports 101 starts now. Hey there, sports fans, and welcome to MCTV Sports 101. I'm Kyle Stafford.
And I'm Billy Ingle.
The showdown of the weekend takes place in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, as the last two unbeatens in the SEC collide. Quarterback Jalen Hurts and number 1 Alabama play host to Trevor Knight and number 6 Texas A&M. Alabama has won the last 3 meetings by an average score of 27 points. The last win for A&M versus the Crimson Tide came in 2012 at Alabama behind some guy named Johnny Manziel. Billy, how do you expect this one to play out?
Well, I'm going to go ahead and start off by saying I am very surprised at what A&M has done this season. I didn't expect Trevor Knight to come in there and be able to operate within that offense like he's doing right now. But then again, let's go back over to the Alabama Crimson Tide. This is Alabama, and you know what? I think they're going to do what Alabama does. They're going to come in there, going to play hard defense. They're going to run the ball. Jalen Hurts has had a great season. He's been throwing the ball well. And, you know, I think this is going to be a tighter game, more than Alabama's had all year. But I think this is still going to end up going their way.
Well, what do they say at Alabama? I believe it's roll tide. Well, they will roll this Saturday against Texas A&M. I think Texas A&M has done a great job this season. I have been impressed. You know, win it against UCLA. Now UCLA really hasn't done as much this season, but they did have a win at Auburn, which is actually a surprising big win because the only 2 losses for Auburn is A&M and Clemson. So you look at those. The Arkansas game was big. I just think Alabama's too dominant this year.
I mean, I agree right now. Yeah. I mean, in the entire season, Alabama, besides the Ole Miss game, no one's even came within 19 points of Alabama.
USC was 52-6. Tennessee at Tennessee, 49-10. It took A&M 2 overtimes to overcome. There were 7 turnovers by Tennessee, and A&M couldn't win like that. So my thing is, Alabama, they're too dominant. Jalen Hurts has been a big surprise this year. His legs are a big weapon. They got other big-time players, though. Calvin Ridley, he's a big-time receiver there. Damian Harris on the ground, great rusher. But you look at their defense. Reuben Foster, 41 tackles, 4 tackles for loss, 1.5 sacks.
And I want to touch over here on the A&M side real quick because I'm not going to just completely leave them out of the picture. Yeah. I am impressed with what they're doing with Trevor Knight. What I'm impressed with the most is the receiving game and who you're getting production out of most. You've got Josh Reynolds leading the team right now with 488 yards receptions and 4 TDs, and followed up by Christian Kirk, another guy that's just having a phenomenal season. And these are over other guys, some familiar names like Ricky Seals Jones and Speedy Noyle. I mean, they're still getting.
Speedy Noyle's really dropped off since his freshman year.
Exactly, and so it's really surprised me to see these other 2 guys and Reynolds and Kirk step up and play as well.
One player I want to say real quick at at A&M is Travion Williams, the true freshman running back. That kid has been fantastic on the ground. He's one of the top rushers in the SEC, and obviously they have Myles Garrett and Deshaun Hall, so you can't count them out. Alabama, this is the year. I don't know if anybody can beat them because
Alabama's looked as good as they've ever looked.
Yeah, I agree with that.
The Toronto Blue Jays kept their season alive with a 5-1 win over the Indians last night, but still trailed 3-1, with Game 5 taking place tonight at the Rogers Center in Toronto. While in the National League, the Los Angeles Dodgers hold a 2-1 advantage over the Chicago Cubs after a 6-0 win last night. The Dodgers have taken control of the series and have 2 more home games to close out the Cubs. Kyle, are you surprised by the Indians and Dodgers' success, and can they sustain it?
Well, I'm not necessarily surprised. I really did thought during the regular season that Cleveland was one of the best teams in the American League. But I thought with the injuries that they had at the starting pitching that they would struggle. But the backup guys, they have really come in and done a good job. The 4 and 5 stars, Corey Kluber has obviously been great. Andrew Miller has been a workhorse in this postseason. 1-0 record, 1 save. This guy's pitched 9 innings already, which is a lot for someone who's considered a closer or a setup man. 20 strikeouts in 9 innings. That leads to 20 strikeouts per 9. I mean, that is incredible. No runs, and he's only allowed 4 hits. And Cody Allen.
And just to say with more about this pitching, it's showing up on the back end on the scoreboard. The Blue Jays, one of the hottest bats coming into this series, and some of the best bats in the league have really chilled off and just, gone. The numbers they're putting up: 0 in that first game, 1, 2, and then finally being able to, break open the gates a little bit and getting 5 the other night. But you can't say enough about the Indians and their pitching and what they've been able to do. But coming over to the Dodgers and the Cubs, starting off with Game 1, that phenomenal Game 1, great move by Joe Madden to get that pinch hitter, grand slam. Miguel Montero with that grand slam in the 8th. But then after that, momentum just completely shifted the Dodgers' way.
I agree.
And then I was really surprised with Arrieta's outing last night, and just not being able to produce and get batters out.
Well, you got to give credit to the Dodgers. I mean, I think the Dodgers is a great team, and I thought that they could compete, but, you just think the Cubs, they have everything. But the Cubs look like their offense has dropped off. Anthony Rizzo, I believe, is hitting .077 in the postseason.
I think he has two hits, I believe, in the postseason.
Yeah, and one of them was, I believe, an infield hit last night where the bat shattered, and so the defense backed off. I mean, so Anthony Rizzo's really struggled. Addison Russell has struggled for them. Ben Zobrist has struggled. They have no runs in their last 2 games alone. Clayton Kershaw finally got that monkey off his back with a complete, 7 innings pitch. That last one you saw took that sigh of relief at the end after that hit by Zobrist.
Yeah,
but
after he demanded to stay in the game.
Justin Turner, he is a star for the Dodgers. Corey Seager's been good. Adrian Gonzalez. They have the pieces to upset them. Clayton, I think if they win tonight with Julio Urias on the mound, I think Clayton Kershaw starts Game 5 in L.A., and they got a chance to put away the Cubs, and it would be a monumental upset for the Cubs. The Dallas Cowboys continue to roll behind the impressive rookie duo of Ezekiel Elliott and Dak Prescott after their 30-16 rout of the Green Bay Packers at Lambeau Field Sunday afternoon. Dak Prescott has been extremely efficient for the Cowboys and has only turned the ball over 3 times. Billy, with Tony Romo rumored to be ready to go after the bye week, do you replace Dak with Romo?
I don't know necessarily right after the bye week is when we bring him back.
Right.
I want to make sure Romo is at 100% health, and we have no doubts about that. But yeah, whenever Romo is healthy to 100%, you got to bring him back. And here's the thing, and here's my take on that, is Dak is a very efficient, and he's a great quarterback, and he's a great rookie quarterback. But that's what he is. He's a rookie quarterback. And the thing is, we're poised to win a Super Bowl right now. We can win this year with how we are playing. And the thing that's going to do that is our defense isn't one of the best in the league to where we're going to be able to shut out teams like the Patriots.
Like it right now.
They're playing well, but they also haven't. I mean, Aaron Rodgers hasn't been,
I mean, they're not, but I mean, they're playing better than they are.
Exactly. So, but what I'm saying is whenever it comes playoff time and we have to win some shootouts, we're going to need Romo to do that. Yeah. And playoffs is the biggest picture here. I know Romo doesn't have the best playoff record. It's 2-4 right now. But those 2 playoff wins are monumental in his confidence and going into the postseason thinking that he can win. Just look at Andy Dalton. He plays great regular season every year and then gets to the playoffs and has yet to win one.
That's true.
So,
especially last season.
Exactly. And, you'd think Dak Prescott is definitely the future of this team. And even next year, I think Tony Romo's gone. I mean, I truly believe that. But right now, we got to let Tony come in and finish this last one out.
I disagree. I'm going to stick with Dak right now. I think you keep Tony on the bench because you can't change what is rolling with this team. I mean, you can't not change a winning culture. They're winning right now. Now, I'm not saying Tony can't win those games. His last 6 games, he's 5-1 also, and their numbers are almost identical. Difference is Dak right now is a great game manager. Wouldn't necessarily say he's better than Tony Romo. He's got better legs than Tony Romo. My thing is this. You're winning. Can Dak come back whenever they're trailing big? Probably not. Tony would be a better option. But I think right now you keep Tony on the bench. Now, if you need him in the postseason, you bring him in. I mean, I think if he does come back, especially against the Browns, which is after they play the Eagles after the bye week and then play the Browns, you could bring him in that game and get him some reps. That way he'd be ready. But right now I think you stick with Dak. I think it's working with Elliott and the chemistry that has been with this team. The defense is working with it. I would stick with him for right now, but you keep Tony ready.
Yeah. Just a quick shout-out to Elliott, though, right now. Elliott's got 703 rushing yards, more than 25 teams combined.
He's a stud this year.
He's a stud.
Well, now it's time for our weekly segment called Who You Got. So I believe I went undefeated last week, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, after that first week, I've just kind of slowly but surely been slipping around.
I've been creeping back up. I've been creeping up slowly. Yeah, the Seahawks pulled out that one against Atlanta. We were close on that one. I went the Seahawks and probably should have been a pass interference call, but
Julio Jones. And the thing I liked about that game is Julio Jones' temperament, the way he just was able to control himself. He knew that was pass interference.
It was clear.
He knew that, but he was able to control himself. I like that professionalism out of him.
Well, let's see how we can do this week. So Saturday, Baker Mayfield makes his much anticipated return to Lubbock as Oklahoma takes on Texas Tech. Billy, who you got?
Baker Mayfield returns to the Jones. The Jones gets crazy, and we do not upset Baker Mayfield. OU is too tough. Texas Tech, I love us, and I hope we win. I'm not saying it's impossible, but, guys, it's an uphill battle.
Mayfield has got his rhythm going. Westbrook has been a force in the receiving category. I think we have now. There is no Samaj Piran this week. He is out the next 2 games, but doesn't matter. Joe Mixon's went off on us each of the last 2 years as well. I think OU wins it big. That's tough for me to say. I love Texas Tech. You know, it's my school, it's the team. But I just, right now, after last week, I just don't think there's anything in this program. I think the season's over with.
West Virginia looks to remain unbeaten as they host TCU. Kyle, who you got?
I'm going to go with the Mountaineers. They've been very surprising this year. I did not expect them to be undefeated this so far into the year. Now, TCU, I believe, to me, has been a disappointment. They have been really terrible, in my opinion. And I think at Morgantown, West Virginia is going to take care of business.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and go with West Virginia as well. Now, I wouldn't say that TCU's been terrible per se. They got a new guy in Kenny Hill who's just learning this system. Hopefully, he can improve as the years go on.
It's not just their offense; their defense.
The defense is where the big disappointment is. But I also feel like their offense is a little bit overachieved to kind of balance that out. But like I said, in Morgantown, West Virginia has just looked great this year. Defense, offense, everything's working in West Virginia.
In the NFL, Brock Osweiler makes his return to Denver as the Texans play the Broncos. Billy, who you got?
Denver. You know, they got the better defense. Houston's banged up. You know, Osweiler has not been looking nearly as good as they would like him to down there in Houston. You know, just Denver's offense is overachieving. You got to go with Denver.
Yeah, I would know. Brock Osweiler has not played very well in Houston, but it's not just Brock. I mean, that whole team has really showed. To me, it's every year. The Texans just look like a team that's worse than their record. I'm still going to go with the Texans this week because I think Denver has started to struggle a little bit, especially on offense.
They showed a lot in that comeback.
I know Trevor Siemian missed not this last game, but the game before that. I think their offense struggling. Texans defense is still pretty good without J.J. Watt.
Yeah.
I think Brock Osweiler has a good return, and I think he wants to prove himself. So I'm going to go with the Texans.
All right.
Tonight, Game 4 of the NLCS. Billy, who you got?
You know, it was hard. This has been an up-and-down series, but I got the Cubs. And I feel like the Cubs' backs are against the wall. They know it. If they lose this game, it's basically all but done for them. And I got to believe the best team, what we all thought was the best team in the MLB, is going to show up, and they're going to play their hearts out and win this game.
I'm going to go with the Dodgers. I think they have all the momentum right now. You know, I like that Urias kid that's going to take them out. He's only 20 years old, but he is talented. If you look at his numbers by months, August, 1.99 ERA. September, 1.93. This kid has gotten better as the seasons went on. Now, I know he hasn't started in the postseason. He did pitch 2 innings against the Nationals. I think he's going to have a good game. Dodgers are going to take 3-1 lead, and the Cubs fans are starting to sweat a little bit.
Yeah, you know what? Like you said, there's a reason they haven't been to the World Series.
There is
107 years.
Yeah, you know, I think that got to take a toll on the players because everyone is expecting that, and I think they're starting to show it. Now, I mean, obviously the Dodgers have played better in that series, so
undoubtedly,
I think they'll get the win tonight, though.
We'll see.
Well, that's our show for this week's edition of MCTV Sports 101. Join us next week for the latest big name stories in sports. I'm Kyle Stafford.
And I'm Billy Ingle. Until next time.